there, Sue here and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make chicken congee. Full disclosure, until a couple months ago I had never heard of chicken congee and saw the recipe, thought I would give it a try and see how it came out. I'm not a huge fan of ginger, but I know it has a lot of health benefits, so I was like, let me give it a try and see what happens. I have made this so many times since then because it is super easy and only takes a few ingredients, which is my kind of cooking. So in my Insta Pot, so you can do this in your Insta Pot, your rice cooker. I'm sure you could do this on the stove. It is not that complicated. I already have about a pound of chicken thighs. So I just did boneless, skinless chicken thighs and tossed them in here. They're actually frozen even. They're not even thawed out completely, but that's okay. They're gonna thaw out while they cook. To the chicken thighs, I'm going to add some ginger. Now, normally I would do the regular piece of ginger and I would put an inch of the ginger root in there, but their ginger looked really sad at the store, so I did go for ginger paste. You want about an inch of ginger is what you want to put in there. Since the paste, I went ahead and just put a hearty little squirt in there, and we'll see how it comes out. The next thing you want to add in here is going to be a teaspoon of chicken bouillon. So it's cooking, it doesn't have to be an exact science. If I were baking, I would make sure that was an actual teaspoon and not a spoon out of my drawer. But it's cooking, so it doesn't matter. It's not so scientific. The next thing I'm going to add is about 4 cups of chicken broth. Now, I don't know if you guys make your own chicken broth, but I typically do. It is so much cheaper. I've done it for years, but then my son, who's a chef at one of the Disney hotels, thought he would correct me, and that's okay. Love you, Noah. He's like, you put, anytime I get a rotisserie chicken, or if I smoke a turkey or smoked chicken, if you just put the carcass into your pan, and then just barely cover it with water, so you don't want it floating. If the bones float, it'll be a watered down bone broth. So you just want it to cover them. And then I kind of use my own little hodgepodgey stuff. But his version is that you put in 50% onion, 25% celery, 25% carrots. And you can just big chunks these things and put it in, cook it down. You don't want to boil it, you simmer it for 6 to 8 hours. If a foam gets on the top of it, you want to make sure you scrape any of that foam off. After 6 to 8 hours, you strain it. And then I like it because when you put it in the refrigerator, if there's any fat at all that maybe was left on that carcass, you just scrape that off. But then it's kind of a gel because you made your own, so it's got a little bit of a gel to it. So then I'll put it into my vacuum seal bags and I'll just like seal it really good and then label and date it that I know that I have 2 cups of chicken broth in there, or beef broth, or just whatever kind of bone broth you're doing. Put that into the freezer, lay flat, and you're good to go. So I do like to use my own broth. It's cheaper, it doesn't have all the preservatives and that kind of stuff in it, so it's not all that processed stuff. So you can do your own. You can buy your chicken stock, whatever, just maybe watch the sodium if you have high blood pressure, just saying. All right, so after that, I'm just gonna add a cup of rice. Now, don't come at me because this isn't authentic, okay? I use brown rice. Again, trying to avoid the white rice, white flour, white sugar. So I did brown rice. And look, it looks and smells amazing even with brown rice. It's okay. I did put just about a ½ cup extra of the chicken broth because I'm using the brown rice. It tends to soak up a little bit more. So in my Insta Pot, I will just put the lid on here. I will set it for rice and it will go ahead and cook all of that. When it's done, I pull out the chicken chunks and then I just break them up a little bit, do a little shredding, and then just pour the soup in with it. Top it with some green onions. You could do a little sesame oil on top if you want to. These make great lunches. It's a good soup for lunch. Just kind of one of those good ones on a cold day if you're from the north. And then also we'll have it for dinner a lot of times. You can throw anything you want in it. If you got leftover carrots in the refrigerator, throw some carrots in there, throw your celery in there. Just get creative with whatever you put in there as far as other vegetables and things. So that's it. Super easy. Thanks for stopping by my kitchen today, and I hope you'll give this recipe a try.